राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा वृंदावन चंद्र वृंदावन चंद्र अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा नंद कुमार नवनीत चोर राधे गोविंदा नंद कुमार नवनीत चोर राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा वृंदावन चंद्र अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा पुराण पुरुषा पुण्य श्लोक राधे गोविंदा पुराण पुरुषा पुण्य श्लोक राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा वृंदावन चंद्र अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा पंडरीनाथ पांडुरंग राधे गोविंदा पंडरीनाथ पांडुरंग राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा वृंदावन चंद्र अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा राधे 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 गोविंदा राधे 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 गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा वृंदावन चंद्र वृंदावन चंद्र अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा अनाथनाथ दीन बंधो राधे गोविंदा नंद कुमार नवनीत चोर राधे गोविंदा नंद कुमार नवनीत चोर राधे गोविंदा राधे गोविंदा Vrindavana Chandra, Anadhanada Dina Bandho Radhe Govinda, Anadhanada Dina Bandho Radhe Govinda. Radhe 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 Govinda, Radhe 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 Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Vrindavana Chandra, Vrindavana Chandra, Anadhanada Dina Bandho Radhe Govinda, Anadhanada Dina Bandho Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Radhe, 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 Radhe Govinda, Radhe Radhe. Amazing. Thank you, Viva. Yeah. Yeah, now all the kids can go to their class. So you can take this. You can pull this up. Yeah, you can take this. Oh, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We are just getting started. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hi. What are you eating? Can you share something with me? That's her lunch, late lunch. Some snack.
Now become a exciting thing for her to pick some snacks and to pick some coloring books for coming here.
Okay. Yeah, we have some coloring papers actually. You brought some for her? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's get started. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining. Okay. Somebody just joined online. Okay. Nick, you just joined online.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not coming in person today?
No, I'm not very well.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So let's get started. So in our series of Discover Yourself, we completed discussion on two topics. Topic 1 was search for happiness. Topic 2, does God exist? Okay. So any quick points anyone would like to share? What did we discuss so far? Looks like I need to start all over again.
Last week we discussed about 4 ways of acquiring knowledge.
Yeah, 4 different approaches of acquiring knowledge. Yeah. What are those four different approaches?
Pratyaksha Pramana,
Yeah,
Anuman Pramana,
yeah,
Shabda Pramana and Anubhav Pramana.
Anubhav Praman. Very good. Yeah. So that's called epistemology of learning. So epistemology is a science. It's a science that deals with learning methods, how a person can learn any knowledge. Okay. So the 4 different methods of learning are Pratyaksha Praman, sense perception; Anuman Praman, through speculative analysis, logic and reasoning through speculative analysis; and third one is Shabda Praman, you accept an authority and learn from authority; and fourth one is Anubhav Praman, experiential knowledge. So you experience something and then get self-realization. Okay, yeah, you can come in the front. Are you here? Yeah, what else? So what else did we learn? It's good if you're taking notes and yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it's like going with
Yeah, after you go out of this room, it will be gone, right?
it's gone.
Yeah, it's good.
Bhagavad Gita is the nectar of all the Vedas.
Yeah, we discussed we discussed the anatomy of the Vedas. You know, there is a Smriti, Shruti, there are Vedas, Vedangas, Upanishads, and so on. And Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. Okay, Bhagavad Gita is both Smriti Shastra and Shruti Shastra. It's considered as the essence of all Upanishads. It's considered as the essence of all the Vedas and also essence of all the Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads, 4 Vedas. Bhagavad Gita is considered the essence of all the 4 Vedas and 108 Upanishads. Okay. We also discussed that in this Kali Yuga, we don't have time and patience to learn Vedas. To learn Vedas, you need to learn Sanskrit. To learn Sanskrit, it takes 12 years. And after learning Sanskrit for 12 years, you need to spend, you need to spend your lifetime to learn Vedas. So we don't have that time. That's why just Bhagavad Gita, the 700 shlokas, Bhagavad Gita is considered as essence of all the Vedas and Upanishads. So if you just read this one book, Bhagavad Gita, then you got the essence of all the Vedas. Okay. So what else?
Why Vedas is the authoritative text? Like, how can we say that they stand the test of authority?
Yeah.
How do we know? Like, why can we?
Yeah. Why should we accept the Shabda Praman as the best method of learning any knowledge? We discussed that the first 2 methods, Pratyaksha Praman and Anumana Praman, direct perception and speculative analysis, they are not perfect. They are not the perfect methods to acquire any knowledge because our senses are imperfect. The first method, direct perception or Pratyaksha Praman, you learn knowledge of something by looking at an object or by hearing something, by tasting something, by touching something, by smelling something. You engage your 5 senses to acquire knowledge about certain thing. Okay, but we learned that our senses are imperfect. They have limitations. and humans have a cheating propensity. That's why the Pratyaksha Praman is not the best method of learning any knowledge. And then similarly, speculative knowledge, Anuman Praman is also not the best way to acquire knowledge. And Shabda Praman is the best method. But yeah, you have a good point. Why Shabda Praman is, why should we accept Shabda Praman as the best method? Yeah. So what did we discuss?
Basically, Vedas are like applicable everywhere, every time.
They stood the test of the time. They are universal and they are timeless. Uh, and you can apply some instruction from Vedas in your life and see if it works. So through Anubhav Praman, you can verify if Shabda Praman is correct or not. For example, cow dung is antiseptic. That's what Vedas say. So now you can easily experiment that. You can bring some cow dung and sprinkle some water in the front yard of your home, and then see if it works. Okay. So through your Anubhav Praman, you can verify if Shabda Praman is correct or not. Okay. If you verify few things, then you can have full confidence that whatever Vedas are teaching, they are authentic. Okay, or whatever particular book that you have selected to read. Okay, that particular book is authentic. Okay, there can be different versions or different commentaries on Vedas, right? So whatever book that you have selected to read, you can verify by applying a few instructions in your life. For example, let's say you're driving on a highway. Okay, you are new to America and you are driving on highway for the first time. You bought a new car and new GPS. Imagine you are back in 2009 2007 time frame. There was no phone. That Garmin GPS device was there. So you buy that, and so first time when you are driving and you are using GPS, so you don't know whether the GPS is going to take you from Bellevue to Mount Rainier or not. So what are you going to do? So you start from Bellevue, you put the destination as Mount Rainier, and you keep driving. And after a mile or 2 miles, the GPS will show saying that exit 128. Okay, and you will see a green board there that shows exit 128. So they both are matching. So then you will get some confidence that okay, GPS is correct. It's going to take me to Mount Rainier. So you will start building confidence. So you'll keep on checking for 2 or 3 exits like that. And if whatever you are seeing around is matching on the display screen there, then you will have confidence. And after that, you don't keep on checking until you reach Mount Rainier. So initially for few miles, you'll check if everything that you see around is matching on the display. So once you have confidence, then you don't check for the rest of the journey. Similarly, Vedas also, they contain a lot of instructions. Bhagavad Gita, there are a lot of instructions given by Krishna. So you apply few instructions in your life and you verify if it works or not. And based on your Anubhav Praman, you can verify. Okay. So probably you need a carpet, or what you can do is pull this carpet there and you all can sit. Okay. Are you going to help? Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. So it's very important to, cultivate the spiritual knowledge as we discussed in day one, right? This is the most neglected one. This is like fourth wife. The soul is our fourth wife and the most neglected one. So it's very important to cultivate spiritual knowledge. In fact, the World Health Organization, WHO, they gave a definition of health. Does anyone know the definition of health given by WHO? There are 4 different aspects of health as defined by WHO. Physical, mental, spiritual, social, social health. So a person is considered healthy if he is physically healthy, he is mentally healthy, socially healthy, and spiritually healthy. Physical health, we all know. Your body is in good health. And mental health, psychologically, a person is in good health. Psychologically, a person is feeling well. Okay, then he is in good health. Social health. So his relations with the family members, his relations with the friends, relations in the society, they are good. Okay, then he is considered healthy. Not only these three, but the most important one, spiritual health. If a person is religious, pious, and is practicing spirituality, then he is considered healthy. So if any of these four is missing, then a person is not considered healthy. So most of the times, only the physical health is paid attention. Mental health is not paid attention. Sometimes when there are mental problems, when there are psychological problems, if a person is not feeling well mentally, then they pay attention to the psychological health of the person. Otherwise, that's also neglected. So most of the times, it's only the physical health that's given importance. Other three are neglected. Social health, people just maintain social relationships, but they never check if their relations are good or not. Okay, they just go with the flow most of the times. So that's why it's very important to practice spirituality right from the young age of 5 years. So Prahlad in Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, Kaumara acharet prajno dharman bhagavataniha durlabam manusham janma tadapyardhadam adruvam. Prahlad says, one must practice spirituality from the tender age of 5. Like all these children who are practicing, who are attending classes, we didn't have this opportunity, right? So I started reading Bhagavad Gita only after coming to America. And back in India, probably I have never touched Bhagavad Gita with my hands actually. Maybe I have seen Bhagavad Gita, that also I don't remember if I have seen Bhagavad Gita or not. Okay, maybe on the screen, on the TV screen, I saw the picture of Bhagavad Gita, or in B.R. Chopra Mahabharata serial, we listen to those shlokas. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samsthapanardhaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Very melodious shlokas from the B.R. Chopra serial. So other than that, no other knowledge of Bhagavad Gita back in India. So then after learning Bhagavad Gita, after knowing the importance and value of the instructions given in Bhagavad Gita and how much positive influence it had in my life, then I repented, how did I waste 30 years of my life in India without reading Bhagavad Gita? Okay, so it's a treasure chest of knowledge, treasure chest of wisdom actually, okay, timeless wisdom. Because many things in life we just do without knowing them. For example, when we go to a temple, it's a ritual that after you take darshan, you sit down for a few minutes, right? Does everyone do that? Yes? Yeah. But why? Huh?
Positive energy.
Positive energy. Okay, so to absorb positive energy. Okay. What else?
In Hinduism, it's not mainly about praying.
Uh-huh.
It's about getting the energy from the consecrated vigrahas that we have in the temple. So that's where it's not like you just come and pray and go.
Yeah.
You sit there because that has said the energy, the consecrated energy of the vigraha, the murti.
Yeah.
We want to get that, and that's why we say.
Yeah. So basically same thing, to absorb positive energy. Okay. So anything else? It's an interesting question, right? Why do we sit in the temple? Our parents asked us to do that. Our parents did that. We watched our parents doing that. That's why we are doing that. Huh? But what's the reason? So the reason, yeah. You want to say something?
If we say in the evening to children, at least they can sit and see the Vigraha moving for some time.
Yeah.
And then at least they can chant or something. Maybe.
You're almost correct. You're almost correct.
We can have mental peace.
You can have mental peace. Okay? Those people who are seeking mental peace, what they do is they just sit and close their eyes. Okay? That's also good, but not the best. That's not the best thing. That you can do at home also. Meditation, sitting and closing your eyes, you can do at home also. But sitting in the temple hall in front of the deity, as you said, what's your name? Kalyani. Okay. Yeah. You are almost close. Okay.
In the temple,
Huh?
environment is so many bhaktas are come and there around
Positive energy. Positive energy. Yeah. There are good vibes, positive energy. You want to absorb them. Yes.
Maybe it's also for the god to like know that he is present.
Yeah, that's a good answer. But for God, you don't have to sit. You don't have to sit for 5-10 minutes. Even a fraction of a second is enough for God to know that you have come. Okay. So the reason why we are supposed to sit after taking darshan, at least for a few minutes. Okay. And I have seen some people, they just sit for the namesake. They just sit and get up. Okay, not even a minute. For less than half a minute, they just sit and get up. Okay, but you are supposed to sit. Are you okay? You are without carpet. Huh? You can sit in the chair, or you can come here. You can come in the front. Okay. Because we are talking about the topic of sitting in the temple, I want you to be comfortably sitting. Yeah. So after taking darshan of the Lord, we have to sit in the temple right in front of the deity so that we can have proper darshan of the deity, and then we can remember all the details of the beauty of the Lord. We can remember all the details of the beauty of the Lord. What type of dress that the Lord is wearing, what type of garlands the Lord is wearing, what type of jewelry the Lord is wearing, and what's the other paraphernalia around the Lord. And not only the Balaji deity, but who else is there around? What are the other deities around? So you pay attention to all these details. That's why it takes some time. So you have to sit and absorb all this information so that when you go home also, you should be able to remember what you have seen. You should be able to remember the darshan of the Lord. You should be able to remember all the details what you have seen. Then you'll be able to do the smarana of the Lord. Okay? See, whatever we are doing, all the different limbs of the devotional process, the Navavida Bhakti of the devotional service, the goal of all these processes is smarana, remembrance of the Lord. Okay? So for that, you have to practice. To remember the Lord, you have to practice the remembrance. You have to practice the act of remembrance. So sit in front of the deity and then look at the deity very carefully. Don't close your eyes. A lot of people just close their eyes. Okay, even while taking darshan also, say in Tirupati, they spend 2 hours in the line, and before that they spend several hours of journey, and then in the line they spend 2-3 hours. Lot of a lot of walking, and then tiredness, sweating, a lot of fightings in between. So many things happen. And when you are standing in front of the deity, you close your eyes, and then they say Jaragandi, Jaragandi, and then you are pushed away. So you should not close your eyes. Okay? So take a good darshan of the Lord so that you can remember all the details. Because the Lord is very beautiful, right? in Suprabhatam, Venkateshwar Suprabhatam. How many of you know Venkateshwar Suprabhatam? Okay. Sandhya Pravartate. Yeah. So, Tavyam Daivamanikam. So, there is one shloka. Tishta Garudadvaja. So, there is a beautiful shloka in Suprabhatam that says, Kandarpadarpa Harasundara Divyamurte Kanta Kuchamburuha Kutmalalola Drushte Kalyana Nirmala Gunakara Divya Kirte Sri Venkatachalapate Tava Suprabhatam Tava Suprabhatam Aravindalochane Bhavatu prasanna mukha chandra mandale, and so on. Okay. So what are these 4 or 6 lines describing? They are describing the beauty of the Lord. Kandarpa darpa hara sundara divya murte. That means the Lord's form is very beautiful. Divya murti. It's a transcendental form, very beautiful. How beautiful it is? It is more beautiful than the form of the Cupid. Kandarpa. Kandarpa is Cupid, Manmada. So in the material world, we're all attracted to Cupid, Manmada. Because Cupid is undoubtedly very beautiful. So he can attract, everybody. All men and women, he can attract everyone. But the Lord's beauty is much more beautiful than that of Kandarpa, the Cupid. Kandarpa darpa hara sundara hara. Hara means to destroy. Lord's beauty destroys the beauty of Cupid. Okay? Now after you have taken darshan of the Lord, you are not attracted to the Cupid anymore. Okay? That should be our goal. And then Kalyana nirmala gunakara divya kirte. So his guna is also very beautiful. Kalyana nirmala gunakara. So his not only the form, but his guna is also very beautiful. So the Lord's name, form, pastimes, qualities, everything is beautiful. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, everything is beautiful. So we have to take a good darshan of the deity so that you can go home and remember, and just before falling asleep, you can try to remember the form of the Lord that you have seen in the temple and get good dreams. Okay? So that should be our goal. So that's the reason why we are supposed to sit in the temple hall for a few minutes. Okay? Now, another thing, okay? People just blindly follow. I mean, we follow blindly, many things. Another such thing is when people go to Kashi. How many of you been to Kashi? Only one, huh? Okay. But you all heard from your parents, right? Your parents went there and you all heard this from your parents. That your parents went to Kashi and then they gave up. They sacrificed one of their favorite things. Have you heard this? Huh? Yeah. Like if they like banana. We hear, for example, my father also. He has given up, he used to love bananas. So he has given up the practice of eating bananas in Kashi. So have you heard this from your parents? Yeah. What's the significance of that?
Vairagya.
Huh?
Vairagya.
Vairagya. But if you leave banana, that means you have vairagya?
We love it.
Huh?
To eat banana, your father loved it. I Yalandapayam.
Ah.
Small get fruit.
Some type of fruit. Yeah. You gave it up.
I chose it.
Ah. Yeah. But the thing is, they give up one banana, but they eat other fruits. They replace that one banana with many other fruits. Okay? So it's not actually vairagya. Huh?
Lifetime we should not eat that.
Yeah. Once you have given up something in Kashi,
If we
you should not eat.
we cannot do that.
Yeah, you should not eat again. Yeah. So we don't know, right? And people just blindly follow that. The reason behind that is Shastras say that one should do their work in a nishkama karma fashion. One should perform their duty in a nishkama karma fashion. Nishkama karma means do your duty, but do not be attached to the results of your duty. Do your work 100%, give your 100%, and then leave the rest to God. Give your best and leave the rest to God. Okay? Nishkama karma yoga. So one of the principles of Nishkama Karma Yoga is one should not have kaya peksha phalapeksha. Kaya peksha phalapeksha. In Sanskrit, kaya means body. Kayam. Kayam means body. In Telugu also. Sanskrit, Telugu, they are very close. Huh? Tamil also kayam? Yeah, Telugu, Sanskrit, they're all kayam. Hare Krishna. So, kaya peksha, we should not have kaya peksha. That means we should not be too attached to the body. Okay? And then phala peksha. Phala means result. We should not be too attached to the result of our work. We should just do our work and offer the results to God. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Tat Sat. Kayena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakriti svabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayanayati samarpayami. Okay? So whatever you do, in the end you offer the result to God. So we should not have phalafeksha. So the kaya and phala was misinterpreted as fruit. Phala is fruit. Kaya is unripened fruit. Okay? Maud kaya, maud pandu. So kaya and phala. That's how they misinterpreted. And then they started giving up banana, mango, all those things. But the actual meaning is we should not have kaya peksha, phala peksha. Okay? So now if we don't know the meaning of these things, we'll just blindly do it and it will become ritualistic. Okay? If you do not know the spirit behind whatever you are doing, it will become ritualistic. But if you know the spirit behind these things, then it will become spiritualistic. Okay? So that's what we are trying to learn, in these classes. We're trying to learn the reasons and the logic behind all these things, what our Vedas are telling. Okay, so let's begin our topic today. So today's topic is who am I? Okay, so I know three of you joined today only, right? Yeah. So we finished 2 topics, so you're not too late. So you can continue every week. This class happens every Sunday, 6 to 7:30. Okay. And by the way, there is a separate class for kids. All the parents who are sitting here, their children are in a separate class. So you want to send her to the class, children class? Huh? Okay. Can one of you go and, yeah, please. Yeah, one of you can go so that you know which room it is. They don't want to go? Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Okay. So today's topic 3, is who am I? So we started off our discussion with search for happiness. Search for happiness means, what's our goal? I want to be happy. Whatever I am doing, the primary motivation is I want to be happy. In the pursuit of happiness, we study, we get some job, we get married, we get children, we do so many things. We buy nice house, nice jewelry, we accumulate so many gadgets, we go on vacations, so many things. We do so many things. So the one and only one motive behind all these things is happiness. I want to be happy. I want to be happy. Now, before you can be happy or before I can be happy, first of all, I need to know who am I. I need to define who is that I. Then I can get happiness. Now, in our first class, we discussed what's happiness, what's real happiness and relative happiness. We discussed all these things. Now, today, let's define I. Who am I? Okay. So this is just a summary of previous session. Those who have not attended, you can just take a quick look at it. I can share the slides actually. The first topic slides I have already shared. Second topic I'll share again. And there is a video also. I shared the video. Okay. And later on you can join the WhatsApp group. Okay. I'll share the WhatsApp group with you. Okay, so who am I? Let's discuss. You had a question? Okay. So generally, when we ask somebody, who are you? So they'll say, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a businessman. Okay. I'm a designer, architect, sportsman, musician, I'm a husband or wife. Nice pictures, huh? Wow, one more. I'm a father or son, I'm an American, I'm Japanese, Chinese, Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Hindu. And then there are local identities. I'm a Gujarati, I'm a Bengali, I'm a Delite, Punjabi, the most important Telugu. But these are all temporary bodily designations. Okay. So in this lifetime, I am male. In the previous lifetime, probably I was a female, or maybe I was an animal. We don't know. And we don't know who I will be in the next life. Okay. So this designation of I'm a man, I'm a software engineer, I'm a businessman, I'm a father, I'm a husband. These are all temporary designations in this lifetime. Okay. This is not our real identity. It's a relative identity. Just like real problem and relative problem, real happiness and relative happiness. Similarly, this is our relative identity. This identity is temporary only for this lifetime. Okay. And all these designations will change. Even our names will also change. Okay. So for the ladies, after marriage, the name changes. At least the last name changes. Okay. And Chinese, Koreans, and many other people, when they come to America, they change their names. If the name is something of Chinese sound, that they know that people in America, they cannot pronounce that. So they come here and they change their names to Peter, John, Dan, something like that. Okay. Now when you hear that name, you might think that, okay, so this person must be American, unless you see that person, okay, or unless you speak to that person. So the names also will change. Okay. Everything will change. Whatever we saw previously, right? All those temporary designations, everything will change. So all these bodily designations, they keep changing. They are not permanent. Even this body, the body itself keeps changing every day. So there was a scientist who wanted to who wanted to analyze the different chemicals in the body. Okay, so he took out different chemicals from the body, and then he estimated the value of the body as $20. This is our value. This is the value of our body. Now just imagine, we are doing so much, we are spending so much on this body, but this scientist, he just narrowed it down to $20. The value or the worth of our body is $20. We are pampering our body so much, we are grooming our body so much, spending so much on the makeup, so many varieties of clothes, lots of jewelry, so much. But it's only worth of $20. And what are the different chemicals in this body? Calcium, iron, phosphorus, water, and some other substances. Okay, all equivalent to just $20. Okay, so everything that we go through in this lifetime, all the worries, all the anxieties, all the stress, is just for this $20 body. Okay, is that fair?
There is zero value.
Huh?
After that is
After that, zero value. Very good. Yeah.
Above 60, $20.
Yeah.
Below 60, $20.
No, this is for a healthy person. $20 is for a healthy person. Above 60, maybe $2. maybe $2. Everything decomposes in the body, right? So after 60, $2 only. Value changes.
40, 20, 30.
Yeah. So the question is, am I just a bag of chemicals worth of $20? Definitely not, right? See, for example, if there is an accident on highway, the car is involved in the accident, and the driver is also involved in the accident. So when the police come, or when the first alert emergency people arrive, will they take the car to the garage first, or will they take the person to the hospital first? They'll take the person to the hospital first. Okay. Later, the car will be taken to the repair shop. Okay. So even though it's only worth of $20, the chemicals in the body are only worth of $20, but still, when there is a problem to this person, everything is dropped, and every attempt is made to save this person. That means it is not, this body is not just mere worth of $20. There is something more than $20. Something more than $20 that is making this person valuable. Okay? So we'll see what that is. So that means I am not this body. If I am the body, then the worth of our life should be $20. Now we all agree that we are not worth of $20, especially those who have given dowry. You all know. So then who am I? I'm not this body, but who am I? I am the spirit soul, Atma. Okay? I am the spirit soul. We all know this. We all know this point. Now, if I simply say that in the beginning of the class, if I simply say that we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. Now, is the point conveyed? Is the point established? No, it's not established. That's why all this background and drama. Okay? Now, knowing that we are not the body, but we are the soul is one thing. But proving that we are the spirit soul is another thing. Knowing that we are the spirit soul is one thing. And proving that we are the spirit soul is another thing. Okay? There is jnana and vijnana. Knowledge and wisdom. Theory and practical. Okay? So now let's discuss the proof of existence of the soul. Now we all believe that we are not the body, we are the soul. But let's say you have to explain this to your children, or you have to have a discussion with somebody who do not believe in the existence of the soul. Let's say you are discussing with your friend or colleague at work, and they don't believe in soul. Okay, Christians, they don't believe in soul. Some Christian philosophers, they believe in soul, but the modern followers of Christianity, they don't believe in soul. They just believe in one life, and they say that at the time of death, all our sins are taken by Jesus, and there's no life after that. Okay, that's their philosophy. But we all know, coming from Indian background, we all know that we are spirit soul and there is life after death. But how do we convince another person, or how do we convince ourselves, first of all? Okay, first of all, we need to be convinced, right? We know that we are the spirit soul only theoretically. But unless we have some strong faith in this fact that we are the spirit soul, we will not act on that. Knowing that spirit soul is fine, but you should act on that knowledge. You should act on the knowledge that you are the spirit soul. Right now, we are all acting based on the bodily platform. We are all identifying everybody and everything with bodies. When I'm interacting with my relatives and friends and so on, I'm interacting with them with their bodies. But if they are not bodies and they are spirit souls, now we should know how to act on the soul platform. Okay, just like Arjuna, when he was asked to fight in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, so he said, "Oh Krishna, I cannot fight. Dronacharya and Bhishma Dev, these people are worthy of my worship. And all the Kauravas, they are my cousins, they are my relatives. How can I kill them?"
Sorry.
No problem.
First time I remember, so I don't know the times. My son is waiting for me.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. Yeah. So, what were we discussing? Yeah. So Arjuna said, "I cannot fight. These are all my relatives. How can I kill them?" Arjuna was thinking that he was going to be the cause of the permanent death of all those people. That's why he decided not to fight. Arjuna was identifying with all of the Kauravas and Dronacharya, Bhishma Dev with their bodies. He was acting on the bodily platform. That's why he could not fight. Then Krishna gave the knowledge of the soul. In fact, in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 2, as soon as Krishna starts speaking, the first piece of knowledge that Krishna gives is knowledge of the soul. There are 574 shlokas spoken by Krishna out of the 700 shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, there are 700 shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. Out of 700, Krishna spoke 574. And other shlokas spoken by Arjuna, shlokas spoken by Sanjaya, one shloka spoken by Dhritarashtra, only one dialogue. poor fellow, only one dialogue. And then that's all. Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya, Arjuna, and Krishna. Okay? Who? Huh? Who is Sanjaya? Secretary of Dhritarashtra. Secretary of Dhritarashtra, but he was a devotee of Krishna. Dhritarashtra was blind. He was sitting in Hastinapura. He could not go to battlefield. Even if he goes to battlefield, he could not see anything. So he was just sitting at Hastinapur, thinking that there will be some live stream and he can watch it. If he cannot see it, he can at least hear it. So, but there was no live stream. So then there was Sanjaya, who was his secretary. Sanjaya got a blessing by his spiritual master, Vyasadeva, that he can see things remotely. He can see things remotely. By sitting in Hastinapura, Sanjaya was able to see what was happening in Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is probably 1 to 2 hours away from Hastinapura. Hastinapura is basically Delhi. Today's Delhi is Hastinapura. So Sanjaya was able to see what was happening in Kurukshetra because of that blessing by Vyasadeva. And then as the war was happening, Sanjaya was explaining everything to Dhritarashtra. Okay. In fact, Sanjaya was there on the war field for the first 11 days. Until Bhishma Dev has fallen, Sanjaya was there on the battlefield. And then he returns to Hastinapur. So whatever he has seen in the battlefield for those 11 days, he explains to Dhritarashtra, plus, and what happened after that, from 11th day to 18 days. Whatever happened, Sanjaya was able to see remotely and then explain to Dhritarashtra. Okay. So now, proof of existence of the soul. So how can we prove? Because scientists, they cannot prove. They cannot measure or they cannot see soul. That's why they do not accept. Anything that science cannot measure or quantify or prove, they don't accept. Okay? But how do we prove the existence of the soul? There are different ways how we can prove the existence of the soul. The first method is intuition. What is intuition? What's the meaning of the word intuition? Sorry?
Possibility of seeing something that is not already happened. That would be going to happen.
Okay. Okay. That's like prediction. Yeah, that's like prediction. Yeah. So you are partially correct. So sometimes we can guess what's going to happen based on our intuition. You say that my intuition tells me this is going to happen. Okay? Yeah. Gut feeling. Yeah. Okay. Same thing, gut feeling. Sixth sense. Very good. Yeah. Any other answers? So the definition of the word intuition, if you go to dictionary, and look up the meaning of the word intuition, intuition basically means the ability to understand anything immediately without any conscious uh, reasoning. Without any conscious reasoning. In simple words, without much explanation, you will be able to understand something very easily. Okay, just like kids. Kids, you don't have to explain so many things to them for them to understand. They see and understand. They hear and understand. Okay? Monkey see, monkey do. If a parent is doing something, the kids will see that and do. So it's intuition. The ability to understand things immediately without much effort and without much reasoning. You don't ask 100 questions to understand something. You understand something very instantly, immediately. Okay? That's intuition. So let's see how by intuition we can explain the existence of the soul. Now, when somebody asks, where is your nose? We say, this is my nose. Okay, you point to your nose and you say, this is my nose. My ears, my hand, my shirt. And then, if somebody says, point to your body, okay, then we can say, this is my body. Huh? Now, for everything we are saying, my body, my hand, my ear, my eye, my nose, and so on. Even for the body also, we are saying my body. So what does that mean? Now, when you are saying, okay, before body, let's go back to the hand. When you are saying my hand, so what's the implicit meaning of that? What do we derive from that? When we say my hand, what do we derive from that? My hand. It belongs to you. Okay? That means the hand is separate and that my or I is separate, right? They are not the same. I don't say I hand or I am hand. I don't say that, right? I say my hand. Yeah, that means that my is separate and hand is separate. The my or I is the owner of the hand, but those two are two separate entities. The hand and my or I is separate. So my hand, my ear, my nose, and so on. Okay. Now this continues even for the body also. My body. When we say my body, so what does that mean? Implicitly, based on the deductive, what do you call that? Deductive. Huh? In maths, there is something, right? Deductive. If A equals to B and B equals to C, A equals to C, what do you call that? Huh? Derivative or deductive? Huh? What is that? Hence proved. Hence proved. Deductive knowledge. Okay, let's put it that way. Deductive knowledge. Okay. So based on the deductive knowledge or the deductive approach, if I am saying my hand, my and I and hand are separate. Similarly, when I am saying my body, that means body and I are separate, right? So that's intuition. So based on this intuition, when we are saying my hand, my eyes, my nose, my body, I am separate from body. The body is separate and I am separate. Okay? That means there is something else. Beyond this body, there is something else. That is spirit soul. Okay? Who is the owner of the body. Okay? The spirit soul is the owner of the body, not the other way. Body is not the owner of the soul. The spirit soul is temporarily, in this lifetime, is engaged in this body. The spirit soul temporarily in this lifetime is engaged in this body. Okay, next method, common sense. Okay, so these are not scientific methods, by the way. Okay, because science cannot prove the existence of soul. Science denies the existence of soul. So common sense. Okay, now when somebody dies, okay, let's say one of our loved ones. So we have seen them for 60, 70 years. Okay, we loved them so much. Huh? Now, when they die, now before they die, we are ready to spend time with them. We are ready to sleep with them in the same room that they sleep. We are ready to sleep, 60, 70 years without any hesitation. But the moment they die, and if you are asked to spend in the same room for one night, can we do that? No, we'll be scared. The same person whom we have loved for last 60, 70 years, even though it's our mother or father, we are not ready to spend one single day when they die. Rather, we cry. Now, when somebody dies, so what exactly are we losing? Just some chemicals that we are losing? So who is actually gone? If we say that I am the body, there's no soul, as Christians say, right? Many Christians say, right? There's no soul. So according to them, if their body, the body is still there. The person has died, but the body is still there. Why are you crying? Go and hug the body and go and stay, one day with the body. Why are they not doing it? That means they are not the body. That means they are not the body. So who is gone? So Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, as the embodied soul, okay, can somebody read? Kalyani, can you read this aloud?
As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body to death.
To death, at death. Yeah. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. Okay. So in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, starting from shloka number 11 to 30, in 19 shlokas, Krishna has described about the soul in great detail. All the different qualities, attributes of the soul. Okay? In fact, repeatedly. Same thing Krishna has repeated several times to establish the point very well. Okay? So we're going to see some of those qualities in these slides now. Now, did everyone understand what was mentioned in this slide here? As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, that means the body is changing. Body is undergoing changes. From birth, see, at the time of birth, we had certain body. And then in the childhood, we had a different body. And when we were in youth, another body. And in old age, we'll have different body. Okay? So as the body undergoes changes from childhood to boyhood to youthhood to old age, similarly, the soul transmigrates from one body to another body at the time of death. That means in the previous slide, the answer to this question, who is gone? That means the soul has gone. The soul has passed from this body. Okay? The soul has passed from this body. And at the time of death, the soul leaves this body and goes to another body. Okay? New life, new body, new life. So this is a picture, that depicts whatever was mentioned in the previous slide. Okay? How the body changes from childhood to old age and then finally to death. Now many times these points and these pictures can be very helpful in introspecting. Okay? For example, I know a person who started practicing spirituality or who started taking spirituality very seriously when he saw white hair for the first time in his life. One day when he was combing his hair, for the first time he saw white hair on his hair. And he thought, I'm able to control many things in life. Okay? I'm able to wear the type of dress that I like. I'm able to eat the type of food that I like. I'm able to go to the place that I like. I'm able to talk to a person that I like. I'm able to do many things that I like. But this is the first time I'm seeing which is happening against to my liking. Okay, I'm seeing white hair. Then he started introspecting and started taking spirituality very seriously. That's why these points, different points will connect to different people in different ways. Okay. Uh, so body changes and the person remains the same. Okay. See, we know that the body changes, right? Every 7 years, the whole body changes. All the cells in the body completely change. Just like the body changes from childhood to youthhood to adulthood and old age and death, similarly within the same year, in fact, as we are sitting here, the body is undergoing change. The cells are changing as we are sitting here and speaking. And after every 7 years, all the cells in the body will change. Okay, it's like a new body, fresh body, rejuvenated body. So the body undergoes several phases. During the lifetime, the body undergoes several phases. We take birth, we grow, we stay for some time in this life, we produce offsprings, children, we dwindle, and finally death. So these are the different phases the body undergoes. Okay. Now next method. Okay, so the second method is clear to everyone. Second method is common sense, right? The first method is intuition. Second method is common sense. So when we see somebody dying, we are still crying for that person, even though the body is there. We are still crying for that person. That means the person is not that body, or the body is not that person. The person is different, and the body is different. So the person is soul, spirit soul. And as Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita, the soul transmigrates from one body to another body at the time of death. Okay? That explains that there is existence of soul. Now, third method. Third method is we can know the presence of anything by looking at its symptoms. When we look at the symptoms, we know that that particular thing exists. Okay? For example, air. We can't see air. But how do we know that air exists? By symptoms. Okay? And there is coffee in this cup here, in the picture here. Now, how do we know if the coffee is hot or cold? Based on the symptoms. You see smoke coming up, perfumes coming up. That means the coffee is hot. So based on the symptoms, you have some knowledge about that object. Okay, you can prove that that object exists. Okay, how to see the poison? How to see poison? You don't taste the poison, right? You don't taste the poison, but when you see another person tasting the poison and dying, then you know that poison is dangerous. Okay, poison is venomous, harmonious, not harmonious, harmful. Sun. We don't see the sun when it is covered by clouds, but still, when you see light, that means there is sun. Say, for example, now we are sitting in this room. We can see the daylight, but we don't see the sun. Okay? Just because we don't see the sun, we cannot say that sun does not exist. Based on the symptoms, based on the daylight, you say that sun exists. Okay? Now, how do we see the soul? So, what are the symptoms of the soul? Krishna tells this in another sloka in Bhagavad Gita. By its symptoms, and that symptom of the soul is called consciousness, chitta. In Sanskrit, it's called chitta. Okay, mano, buddhi, chitta. Mana means mind, buddhi is intelligence, chitta is consciousness. Okay, so based on the consciousness, we know that the soul exists. Now, when a person has died, what's the difference between a living person and a dead person? There's no consciousness. There's no consciousness. The person is not conscious. He's unconscious, as they say, right? We heard this word many times, unconscious. A person, bevosh ho gaya. Unconscious. Person has become unconscious. That means the consciousness has left the body. The soul has left the body. And the symptom of the soul is consciousness. Now, what are the different faculties of the consciousness? Okay, that we'll see. Even though, it may appear that we understand what is consciousness, but we actually don't know. We don't know the different faculties or the different aspects of consciousness. All that we know about consciousness is that means a person, is able to respond to things or not. Okay. For example, if somebody has gone into coma, he is unconscious. That means he's not responding to things. That's all we know. But there are more details of consciousness. So let's see, what are the different faculties of consciousness? The different faculties of consciousness are feeling, willing, thinking, and there is fourth one actually, doing. Okay? feeling, willing, feeling, willing, thinking, and doing. Okay? Whenever you do anything, okay, any act, whenever you do anything, any act, before you do anything, you go through these 3 steps: feeling, willing, and thinking. First, you feel like to do something. Then then for a few days, you'll contemplate on that activity. You have to leave? Okay, sure. Yeah. And then you'll contemplate on that act. First you feel like doing, then you contemplate on that activity. That is willing. Oh, sorry, that is thinking. Okay? And then finally, after further contemplation, after more contemplation, after several months and several weeks and several months of contemplation, which is thinking, then finally you are ready to do something. You are willing to do something. For example, if you ask a child to brush twice a day, will the child do that from day one? No. So you say that to the child on day one, child will not do. But the child starts feeling about it. Oh, my mom is saying, maybe it's for my good sake, she's telling. Okay? The child starts thinking, contemplating for a few days. Okay? And then finally, one fine day, the child will be ready to do that. Willingness. That willingness comes after thorough contemplation. After proper thinking and thorough contemplation, the willingness or the readiness to do things will come. Okay? So feeling, willing, thinking, and finally doing. These are the 4 faculties of consciousness. There are many more aspects. Let's look at those. Moving. That means active. A person is active, is able to move from one place to another place. Chara, achara. There are 2 types of objects in this material world, right? Chara, achara. Chara means moving, movable. Achara means immovable. Okay? Moving, seeing, speaking, memorizing, responding, all these things. Okay? And when there are no emotions, no experience, no desires, no consciousness, that means it's a dead matter. Just like a rock or a stone. Rock and stone, they don't have emotions, they don't have any experience, they do not go through this process of thinking, feeling, thinking, willing, and doing. There are no desires. A rock will never say, I want to eat gulab jamun today. There's no consciousness. So that's dead matter. Whereas spirit soul is active matter. So another instruction in Bhagavad Gita, that which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Avinashi tu tadviddi ena sarvam idham tadam vinasham avyayasyasya nakaschit kartum arhasi. Krishna says, the shloka number, it's given here, this thing is hiding, 2.17. Okay? Avinashi tu tadviddi ena sarvam idam tadam vinasham avyayasyasya nakaschit kartum arhasi. That which pervades the entire body. So what is that thing that is pervading the entire body? The soul. Because the soul is pervading the entire body, the whole body is conscious. Now when we say we are conscious, it's not like only certain parts of the body are conscious. Only my hand and leg is conscious, whereas my eyes and ears are not conscious. It's not like that. The consciousness is spreading throughout the body. That's why the whole body is active. Now you see, for some people, for example, their hand is paralyzed. So what does that mean? That means consciousness in that place is gone. That's why it's paralyzed. That particular part of the body is paralyzed. The consciousness is gone there. Similarly, when the consciousness leaves this body, the person dies. Okay. So that which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. That means that soul is indestructible. Avinashi. Avinashi tu tadviddi ena sarvam idam tadam. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. When Arjuna was asked to fight on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was thinking that he was going to kill all the Kauravas permanently. He was going to be the cause of the eternal death of the Kauravas. Now, according to this instruction of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, that's not true. Krishna is telling, no one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. You can never kill the soul. But Arjuna was thinking that he was going to kill them forever. He was only killing their bodies, not the souls. So there are so many species of life. We discussed, right? There are 8.4 million species of life. Human beings is one among them. Human beings, animals, reptiles, birds, insects, and so on. There are aquatic bodies. There are 8.4 million type of species. Okay. Why 8.4 million types of species? We discussed this also. Desires, very good. Because we all have, every one of us, it's not like all of us together have 8.4 million. Each person can have 8.4 million types of desires. Yeah, each person can have 8.4 million types of desires. That's why God, in order to fulfill those 8.4 million types of desires, He facilitates 8.4 million species. So, for example, if you see a bird beautifully flying in the sky, sometimes unconsciously, unknowingly, you might get a desire saying that, hey, how nice would it be if I can fly like that? Okay? I mean, if you simply have a desire like that and leave it at that, that's fine. But if you come home and then start contemplating, which is that process, right? Three-step process: feeling, thinking, willing, and doing. Okay, when you see for the first time and you have some feeling, oh, I feel like flying like that bird. If you leave it that, then that's fine. But if you come home and start thinking about it, contemplating, then it becomes a strong desire. It becomes an impression in your mind, and then in the next life you want to become like a bird. So God will fulfill that desire. So God will sanction you a body of a bird. Now, you're degrading yourself from such a sophisticated highest birth of human life to a lowest animal body. Okay, that's why we have to be very careful when we desire for something. Okay. uh, Now whenever we see any of these 8.4 million type of species of life, that means there is consciousness in all these species. Wherever you see presence of consciousness, the soul is there. There is soul in amoeba, there is soul in the tree, there is soul in reptiles, there is soul in snakes, there is soul in birds, there is soul everywhere. Wherever there is consciousness. Now how do we know the symptom? What are the symptoms of consciousness? Moving, seeing, doing, emotions, experiences. Wherever we see all these things, there is soul, there is consciousness, there is soul. Body appears to be alive, but that is so due to presence of the soul. Now when we are leading our life, right, we don't pay attention to our soul. Even though we know that we are not the body, but we are the soul. But yeah, no problem. Yeah. You can come and sit if you want. Yeah, she can also sit. Yeah. So even though we know that we are not the body, but we are the soul, but how much time do we pay attention to that? We hardly pay any attention to that. That means all the time we are identifying with our bodies. We are only identifying with our bodies. And we think that whatever we are doing, whatever feeling, thinking, willing, doing, or emotions, experiences, the moving, seeing, everything is possible only because of this body. That's why I need to take care of this body. That's our thinking. But even though the body appears to be alive, but that is so due to the presence of the soul. It is the soul that is making the body active and alive. As soon as the soul leaves the body, there's no value to this body. Not even $20, zero, as he said. Not even $2, but zero. So the body is just like the car, and the soul is like the driver. Now, if somebody asks you, is the driver important or the car important? What would you say? Huh? Driver. Now, what will the driver do without the car? The driver is not called driver anymore. When there is no car to drive, the driver is not called driver anymore. So that means the car is important. Right? Huh? Both are important. Very good. So I'm glad nobody said none of them are important. Multiple choice questions, right? All of the above, none of the above. A or B, both A and B, none of them. So both are important. Both body and soul are both are important. Because without the body, the soul cannot do anything. Similarly, without the soul, the body cannot do anything. That's why some people, when they commit suicide, right? Why do people commit suicide? Due to some problems. But we all have problems. Huh? They know. They lost hope from the car itself. They lost hope. Okay? Yeah. Okay? So people commit suicide because they are so frustrated in life. They have so many problems, not just problems, but they have so many problems. But every second of their life is miserable. See, life in general is miserable, that we know. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam, Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. And we are experiencing that every day. Somehow or the other, we are experiencing that. Okay? Even if you are simply sitting at home, thinking that if I go out, then I'll face problems. Let me just sit at home. Still there are problems. There is wife or husband at problem. Wife or husband, to create problems. So there are so many problems. If not wife and husband, mosquito will create a problem. Okay? So there are problems everywhere. Padam padam yad vipadam. Bhagavatam says. There is danger at every step. There's a problem at every step. So a person who wants to commit suicide, they are so frustrated in life that they want to end this life. They cannot bear or tolerate problems anymore. They just want to end this life. So what happens after suicide? Will their problems come to end? No. In fact, it will be more miserable than when they were living. Because after suicide, they will become a ghost. Now, what is ghost? What is ghost? Huh? Huh? Departed soul. Okay, very good. You are partially correct. They don't. No, they'll take birth. Shravan. Huh? Unsatisfied soul. Okay. What's the condition or state of the physical state of the soul? Yeah, That's why the person has become ghost. Not because of natural death, voluntarily suicide attempt. That's why a person has become a ghost. But what is the physical state of that soul? Soul means basically without body. There's no body, there's only soul. There's only subtle body and the soul. There's no gross body. Now, even after committing suicide, the person is still living. Because whatever lifespan is granted, 70 years, let's say, but the person has committed suicide at the age of 20 years because of teenage problems, college problems, homework, all those problems. Person has committed suicide at the age of 20. Now the rest of the 50 years, the person will lead life in the ghost form. Soul without body. Now the person, when he was living in the body, when he had a desire, let's say he wanted to eat gulab jamun. He can ask his or her mother, and mother will make gulab jamun and eat. Desire is fulfilled. There are problems, but there are desires to eat some nice delicacies. Now, after suicide, the desires will remain. Desire of eating gulab jamun will remain. But there is no facility to eat gulab jamun. The desire will be there, but there is no fulfillment. So it will be more miserable than a person who is actually living and going through the problems. So basically, ghost means soul without body. That's why body is also equally important. Soul is important, body, both are important. Without body, soul cannot do anything. Okay? Now the soul comes to this material world for a purpose. What is that purpose? We'll discuss later. Now soul cannot fulfill that purpose without the body. The body is an instrument. In simple words, the body is an instrument. Okay?
Instead of suicide, if somebody dies in an accident,
Yeah.
then what will happen?
So accidents happen even though it appears like an unnatural death for us, but when accident happens, it is God's will that the person must leave at that time. Now I'll show you a picture of an accident where you will believe that there is not even 0.00001 chance for that person to leave, but the person has lived. Okay, let me show you that picture. Okay, if I don't find now, I'll send the picture later. Oh yeah, I think here it is. Yes. Yeah, here it is. Now look at this. Is everyone able to see this picture clearly? Okay, let me play the video also actually.
My JDM Dream Build is underway, and I've partnered with eBay Motors.
Rise being crushed under a semi-truck on the Skagit River Bridge. Troopers say they cannot believe she walked away from
happened in
this
Seattle.
with minor injuries. Kamos Tammy
Washington,
Toss is live in Mount Vernon with what witnesses and troopers saw in this unbelievable escape. Tammy?
Mary, and those witnesses who heard and saw this horrific crash still can't believe anyone survived at all. Tonight, Trooper Rocky Oliphant telling me in the 14 years that he's been doing this, he hasn't seen anything like this.
This is nothing short.
Yeah, now look at this. So an old lady, she was driving the car, and the car was completely crashed. Okay? Like an appadam in Telugu they say, right? Appadam అయిపోయింది అంటారు కదా. So completely crashed, or crushed, I would say. Okay? Like a thin paper. Now, what are the chances for that person to survive? But this lady has survived with minor injuries, as if nothing happened. And she just walked from the place seeking for help with some minor injuries. It's God's will. Yeah, even though it's an accident, and in a situation otherwise, a person would die. But this is God's miracle. As there is a saying, right? Rake Krishna Mare Ke, Mare Krishna Rake Ke. If Krishna wants to protect somebody, there is nobody who can kill that person. Huh?
Like Trump's incident.
Yeah. And if Krishna wants to kill somebody, there is no force that can save that person in this life, in this world. So now this is an example. Now after this incident happened, the police and fire workers, first responders, everybody came. They all said, we have never seen such a miracle in our lifetime. It is definitely an act of angels. That's what they said. Act of angels. Okay. That's the definition of God. So to answer your question, yes, even though the death in accident appears to be unnatural, but it is natural. It is as per God's will only. Okay, that means they are destined to live only that much time.
So if it is a God's will, then why all these actions are it should have been done in a natural way?
So if it is God's will, why these actions?
All these actions should have been done in a natural way, asking the body.
Oh, instead of accidents, natural way.
It should have been
Yeah.
because it's a God's will.
Yeah. So there are many things are involved in this. First of all, it is karma. Okay. And natural death can only happen when the body dwindles. And the body can only dwindle in the old age, 60, 70, 80 years old. But if God wants to sanction only 20 years of life to somebody based on the previous karma, okay? Now, natural death cannot happen, right? The body dwindling cannot happen. The body is still young, 20 years. We have seen many, young children also, innocent young children in the school getting fired by some gunman and then getting killed. So God wants to give only that lifespan to those people. So now these are the only possibilities how God can take their life. Natural death cannot happen. That means God has to take their life somehow or the other. Yeah. And how God takes their life, that's also based on the karma. It's not random. It's not like somebody is dying in accident, it's just random. God is just using one of the possible methods to take that person's life. It's not random. Why a person dies in accident versus why a person dies by a snake bite versus why a person dies by some fire in the school, or why a person dies by earthquake. There is a deeper meaning behind that. Yeah, karma. Okay. So both body and I think I'm not sharing, right? Yeah. So both body and soul are equally important. There's an example here. Example of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, even though he was a noble person and everybody, worshipped him as Jati Pita, the father of nation, but when the person dies, there are no feelings and there's no value to the body. So what's the time? 7:57, huh? Okay. I think we will, just 1 second. Yeah, we'll stop here. We can continue next week. So you're not part of the WhatsApp group, right? You are registered? Huh? Oh, you registered already. Okay. So you're also there? You three are together. Okay, good. What's your name? Chandra. Your name? Chandrika. Chandrika. Wow, beautiful. We had someone else, right? Teja, and she is not here today. Teja and her husband name is also Tej something. Okay, Chandrika. Your name? Prashant. Okay, good. So every week we'll have this class Sunday 6 to 7:30. Okay. So yeah, I think it's almost 7, almost 8. Time for Aarti. We'll wrap up here and Hare Krishna. You can also join.
Yeah, so my daughter is there, so I need to feed her.
Yes, go feed her and I can help you join the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, I've already joined Prabhuji. There was a scan code.
Oh, you already joined?
Yeah.
Sunday group?
Sunday group.
Okay, your name?
Pinky.
Pinky. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. We'll continue next week. Okay, Hare Krishna.